Here is an explanation for the answer to final exam, question number 63 in Alternative Energy Demystified 2nd edition. If you have the printed book, please see page 323. We're listing 4 characteristics here, A, B, C, and D, and one of them represents a significant limitation or disadvantage of solar water heating. Well, which one is it? Or is it all of them? Well, A, the electrical pump uses a lot of electricity and it tends to fail often because of the hot water it must handle. Well, that statement is not even true. Electrical pump doesn't use very much electricity, and it doesn't tend to fail very often, and it certainly doesn't matter what temperature the water is, as long as it's not under huge pressure and extremely hot, or as long as it doesn't freeze in there and destroy it. So choice A is not relevant, so we can rule out choice E then too, because it's certainly not all of the above. B, it's a closed system. Well, that's basically true, so it can't ventilate efficiently if the weather gets too cold. Well, it doesn't have to ventilate. It's a closed system. That's the whole point. So this is not a disadvantage. It's actually an advantage that it's a closed system. D, it generates pollutants in the form of dissolved metals from the pipe walls. These metals must eventually be discarded somehow, so they inevitably... Well, the pipe walls, generally, a lot of the pipes can be polyvinyl chloride. They don't use that anymore, do they? But plastic pipes, they can be copper. They can be anything that's not toxic, and since it's a closed system, these metals are not going to eventually work their way into the environment anyway. We certainly wouldn't use lead pipes. Those went out of style way back in the middle of the 20th century when people realized the horrible things that could result from using lead pipes. So there's no pollution problem really with this at all. How about choice C? It won't work very well in a location where the weather is cloudy most of the time. Say the coastline of Oregon or Washington and state in the United States. Or even where I live, it's cloudy a lot of the time. It certainly is cloudy right now as I'm making this video. If the sun doesn't shine, we can't heat water. We can cool it. And in fact, when I lived in Miami, they used to use a solar water heating system to cool the water at night in the summer by radiating the excess energy away. But the correct choice here is in fact C. And let's actually look at a diagram of a system like this. The sun shines on this collector plate and heats it up, and pipes then carry a heat transfer fluid, something like what you have in your car between the radiator and the engine. Anything that'll transfer heat. It's a closed system. There's a heat exchanger in the water tank, and that heat exchanger transfers the heat energy from these solar panels to the water in the tank, and then cold water comes in and hot water goes out. So that's how this kind of a system actually works. It's a closed system, meaning it doesn't pull in any water from the outside and take in any water from or put any water into the environment in the system that transfers the heat. This is the closed part of the system, is the heat transfer part. Of course, the cold water in and the hot water out. I mean, you take a shower, you're going to end up with water going down the drain. So this part of the system isn't closed. But this part is the part that transfers the heat energy. And eventually, just like you do with your car, you need to flush this out, and you need to replace that heat transfer fluid in an extremely hot environment. As I said, like in Miami, Florida at night, they used to take and actually reverse this process so that this water from the pool would go through the heat exchanger and transfer the heat back out and let it radiate away at night. But anyway, the correct choice here is C. A system like this, if you want to heat water with it, if it's cloudy most or all of the time, you're just not going to have much luck.